Hello everybody and welcome to the final round of the UK Open 2. It has been a long day.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a 9-round Swiss regional like this before. As you say before, it's the largest one we've seen in the UK.
Ever.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever got it above the 256 players required for that 9th round. But those of us still here have fought through this far and we have 1 round left to show you. Now, this is table 1.
Yes.
But interestingly, we don't see an undefeated player here. Possibly the undefeated player, Tim Cox, has already played against these two.
It's very possible.
So he'll be playing on table 2 against Christopher Nielsen. But we have Ismael Abdul playing SPYRAL. Looks like it could be a going first build. He has the utility wire in the main deck, but none of the Destrudo combos, so sort of a balance between the two. And Alex Moffatt playing Pendulum Magicians with main deck Psyblocker. Clearly set up for and expecting to see Spirals in force, and it might come good for him here where he's got that matchup that he's been most prepared for.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. If you're going to be going up against a lot of Spiral, which you will, you definitely want to be main decking some tech on that. Now, it looks like our table is actually ready when we are. We've got hands loaded in. So we should head straight on over to our table.
Let's have a look at what they've got to open with. We see...
And we're back.
For Alex, not the clearest image here. Astrograph Sorcerer, a Psyblocker, Pendulum Sorcerer, Time Graph, and I'm not sure what the card is at the back there.
It looks like a 6 Samurai Zanji, so I definitely know it's not that.
I think it might be a Skullcrabat Joker, not certain, but we see Izzy kicking us off here with the 1-for-1 into Spiral Gear Drone. Discards his only monster, into Quick Fix to search the drone, my mistake. But he has the Foolish Burial Goods, sending the spell, so he'll be able to instantly special summon that drone from the hand. Banish the Spiral Mission, summon the drone, and he gets information about the cards on top of Alex's deck. So we've seen him here establishing 2 Spiral monsters on the field without even needing his normal summon.
Madness.
Now,
the 3 cards that come on top of the deck are, if I can read them, a very low quality photo. Oh,
Ash Blossom, a Time Pendulum Graph, and a spell card.
That is a...
Oh no, sorry, another Astrograph Sorcerer. Half spell. So, here we'll see the double helix, as ever, coming down straight away. Still no normal summon yet from Izzy. Activating the effect of the double helix, and we'll see what he chose to stack to the top of Alex's deck. The Ash Blossom, predictably, as we've seen before, putting the hand trap onto the top of the deck, very powerful because by the time it gets drawn, it's already too late. The Master Plan comes out, and you'll see the Spiral Mission Rescue being added to hand. And activating the effect of his Quick Fix Engrave to discard that Spiral Mission and get the Quick Fix onto the field. So this does feel like a very explosive turn 1 play here. As we were suggesting, it may have been more of a going first build, so have a quick check of the extra deck. Yes, he does have the Trigate Wizard, Firewall Dragon, able to set up that combo turn 1, so we'll see just how far he is able to push into this. With nothing to respond for Alex at this point, there can be a lot of effects coming down for Izzy, and we'll just keep accruing the advantages now. I'm expecting to see a Trigate lock by the end of this turn.
That'd be nice to see. Not quite seeing Trigate.
Not so nice for Alex, but...
Yeah. It's terrible for Alex.
We mentioned the Tri-Gate and saying how strong it will be. Clearly we have Izzy here making these strong turn 1 plays, and the other player that we've seen on going past SPYRAL, Tim Cox,
yep,
undefeated after 8 rounds.
Yes, undefeated, which is interesting because we were talking about how the going second build was the one to go for, and basically throughout the entire day, and then all of a sudden we've got 2 going first builds that are right at the top table.
Yeah. And of course, we could see an upset for that theory if Christopher Nielsen comes out on top on the round 2 match, on the table 2 rather match. You see here a second mission being searched by the master plan as it gets brought back for Big Red. And again, recurring the quick fix, just taking search after search from this. He's able to recur it, avoiding the banishment clause for the summon from grave by placing it under his Sylvan Princess sprite. You see the effect of Resort being used. Quite likely a sleeper will be found here. Super Agent comes down. I'm just waiting to see what Izzy chooses to consolidate into at this point. Has access here to either a link 3 or potentially another link 2. Goes this time for the Decode Talker. Curious that he didn't go for the Decode Talker before. He had the option to, instead going back for the double helix. Presumably he just needed to keep a monster named Super Agent on the field so that he'd be able to keep recurring that quick fix. But yeah. I'm not sure if he couldn't have just summoned his Super Agent from hand a little bit sooner, and then he would have been able to go straight for the Decode Talker. He may have given up some of his potential link ceiling by not climbing up when he could have done earlier. Doesn't at this point look like we'll be seeing the huge opening board with Tri-Gate and other co-linked monsters that we've seen from other matches. Is that the third SPYRAL double helix summoned turn 1?
It does look like it. Yep, there's the other 2.
3 SPYRAL monsters being banished. Play out the SPYRAL Sleeper, and he equips the Last Resort, sets 2 back row. Has he searched for the utility wire this turn?
I don't believe he did. I'm not sure.
Lots of searches with the quick fix, so that may well be one of the set cards.
Very possible.
I know that he didn't start with any trap cards in his hand, so it's quite likely that that was one of the cards picked up along the way. The other being a Cosmic Cyclone that he did open with. Very strong card to have in hand playing against Pendulum Magicians, but we'll see what Alex can put together here. Alex here, stuck between a sleeper and a utility wire.
Basically stuck between a rock and a hard place.
He presses on, trying to develop the board, possibly trying to bait out some of the responses from Izzy's side of the field.
What other resources are in his hand currently? Because, as you say, if he's baiting that out, it's possible that he does have the ability to make a different line of plays afterwards.
Well, we know that he's drawn the Ash Blossom for turn,
okay,
and the rest of his hand was the Astrograph Sorcerer, Psyblocker, Pendulum, Perform Power Pendulum Sorcerer, and Time Pendulum Graph.
Right.
So he's getting off the Astrograph Sorcerer effect here to get himself a new Double Iris Magician, and the Double Iris effect able to find the Star Pendulum Graph. But as yet, we see SPYRAL yet to use those interaction pieces.
Yeah. Just biding his time, waiting for the perfect moment to use it.
Doesn't look like Alex has a good road into this game at this point, but
No.
he may be hoping that the SPYRAL player here will make some sort of mistake. End of a long day.
Abdul has a good road here. He's got a car. He's already like started. It's great.
A big red car, yes.
A big red
Excellent.
car.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And it has been a very long day, you're right. It's just one of those things where these players are going to start feeling very fatigued. They probably started feeling very fatigued a while ago, and now it's 20 past 11 in the evening.
So we see Izzy here considering after every card hitting the board whether or not he needs to interrupt at this point. Now we know that one of the sets is the Cosmic Cyclone and suspect that the other one might be the Utility Wire, which we do see being flipped up here. Not only does that take the threat off the board, but it also puts it in a position where both is known for any SPYRAL effects activated next turn, and may well be drawn as a brick card. The effect of a Double Iris Magician being used there.
Cosmic Cyclone.
Cosmic Cyclone on the Star Pendulum Graph. Alex has seen enough. There is no way he's getting through that board, and they go to game 2.
So Abdul won game 1.
Yeah.
So, siding.
I think Abdul may have missed out on the opportunity to put out the optimal board for the hand he had there, but it still got the job done, so as you say, let's have a look at what we see in the side deck.
There's an Artifact Engine, including Sanctum.
And Izzy also has access to dimensional barriers, which can be absolutely killer against anything pendulum based.
So there's all of the kaijus.
Yes. But given that we've seen him playing the going first SPYRAL build, it's likely that Alex will opt to play first in game 2. What does Alex have in his side deck for playing first? I'm not sure that there's a great deal of options here. Possibly the Cosmic Cyclones to take out SPYRAL Resorts. But it seems that what with the main deck side blockers, he's already set up for playing against SPYRAL in the main deck. So perhaps not intending to side very much for this matchup and hoping that the main gets him there.
It does feel that way.
Yeah, it seems that Alex's side deck is a little bit more set up to deal with the potential for a Pendulum mirror match. Siding cards like Pendulum Storm and Wavering Eyes come in very strong in that particular matchup, but the main deck side blocker suggests that he's expecting to see mostly SPYRALs. You see hands being drawn for game 2.
Let's have a look what they are. Okay, Alex is going first.
Yep, as we expected. And just waiting to see what those opening hands are.
Ooh. So I can see the Spiral player's hand. Spiral gear, big red, Spiral mission, tough agent, and Ash Blossom. In
Pendulum Magician player, we have an Astrograph Sorcerer, an Oath Dragon Magician, Formfal Skullcrabat Joker, Harmonizing Magician, and a Black Fang Magician. So we see Alex kicking things off with the Formfal Pendulum Skullcrabat Joker. He wouldn't be normal summoning a Pendulum Sorcerer, not the best opener. Searches for that Wisdom Eye to be able to fix his scales, have a monster to Pendulum summon from the extra deck. Turn 1 as the Pendulum player, that first Wisdom Eye Magician is just a free resource.
yes.
It sets you a scale, and it's a card that you can Pendulum summon from your extra deck on turn 1. See the Double Iris Magician coming down here.
I was just thinking about it.
Did he have the Pendulum Sorcerer in his hand to be able to instantly get the destruction on the Double Iris?
I believe he doesn't have one in his hand.
No. So he's Pendulum summoned a Harmonizing Magician from hand, and that's been met with Ash Blossom from Izzy. But he'll still be able to consolidate to 2 extra deck monsters through Omega, taking out one of the 4 remaining cards in the hand. We see Spiral Mission Rescue being banished with the Omega, leaving in hand just the big red Tough and Agent. I mean, might be in a bad position unless he puts out a Baguska here, because unfortunately,
Went for a Tornado Dragon there instead.
yes, being able to pop his own scales here.
Abdul is either cold or just like, yes.
So he sets himself up with the Time Pendulum Graph. But is he drawing the 1-for-1 for the turn? Alex Moffatt sat with only that Time Pendulum Graph as his piece of interaction, so
Yeah.
might be in a tough place here. If the Tornado Dragon can be outed before Spiral Big Red comes down,
Yeah.
that'll be unhindered as well.
Time Pendulum Graph. Going on Tough. Big Red.
Well, we're going to see the Tornado Dragon coming down here.
Tornado Dragon, stop it.
I'm
1 for
not
1.
sure that Big Red was worth playing there, given that the Tornado Dragon was just sat there waiting to use its effect, unless he's really trying to bait that Tornado Dragon, but doesn't seem like the best of moves. I think we're about to see again just how few cards Spiral needs to be able to make their boards.
Oh, yes. Abdul rubbing his head there again. Very long day. Your brain must be fried after that one, Yu-Gi-Oh, surely.
Yeah.
My brain's fried and I've just been watching it.
It looks like we've just seen Izzy passing turn there.
Not too sure. It's not very clear.
Well, the Omega's returned to the field, so it must now be Alex's turn.
It's fair. It just seems like they're just talking to the Ben over there.
So did we see the super agent at any point? We saw the normal summon on the tough.
No. No, we didn't.
So we started with a super agent in hand. I can only assume that we must have... Unless it was discarded for the 1-for-1.
Possibly. I'm not quite sure what he discarded for the 1-for-1.
What other cards were in his hand at the time? He may not have had anything else other than the agent to discard, so
yeah.
He might have pushed into that play expecting to special summon a super agent, but he discarded it for the 1-for-1 and there was nothing there for him to follow up with. So I have a feeling he might have misplayed that game a bit, and he doesn't look too happy here.
No, he does not.
So Alex is taking game 2, and we will see game 3 being played out here.
In the final round of the UK Open too. We hope that you've been enjoying the stream and the excellent commentary by Tom Rose.
It's been good to be here. Had a lot of fun today, and seen a lot of, well, seen some very good games and some very sad games where one player just doesn't get to play at all.
Yeah. Also, it's Trickstar.
I think
Never allowed.
We possibly should have seen a quick win for the Spirals there, but the big red just got thrown away, and then the turn just didn't play out how Izzy was expecting it to.
I'd actually ask Donald Life for you if he just hates other people having fun. He didn't take offense to the question, so that's good.
So this time we're likely to be seeing SPYRAL playing first. And what has he got for when he is playing first? He has dimensional barriers and he has artifacts. So that's 6 trap cards that completely suck down the whole turn for Alex. If he opens with any one of those 6, it's not looking to be a good position for Alex.
Oh, thanks, Abdul. He just adjusted the mats for us. So this is the final game of the UK Open 2. We're in round 9 of 9. I believe it starts around 1 PM. The actual matches. The stream started around that time as well.
Okay, so we've just heard that Izzy was getting very annoyed that he'd forgotten that he'd already normal summoned. Got a bit ahead of himself, thought he had the game sealed, and then ended up throwing away the last of his resources. Both players just getting ready.
That was an interesting handshake.
Well, they've come this far. At this point, you're sort of just happy to be there.
It was more than just the wave thing that Abdul did on the way in. It's interesting.
both players very likely to be in the top 8 after this, so they'll be feeling happy. And we have the hands being loaded in. Alex begins with Pot of Duality, Side Blocker, 2 copies of Purple Poison Magician and a Star Pendulum Graph, whereas Izzy's opening hand has Dimensional Barrier, 2 Sanctums, Terraforming, and Gofu. Very strong hands for both players here. But I think the Spiral player is going to find himself ahead of it with 3 trap cards to lock out a turn. Unfortunately, there's only 1 Scythe in his side deck, so he won't be able to use Sanctum for Scythe twice, but Sanctum for Scythe and Sanctum for Moral Attack, both very impactful. You can see Gaia Saber coming down, Spiral Resort. No hand traps in Alex's hand, so we're going to see some combos. Perhaps this time he'll remember when he has and has not normal summoned.
Yes. As this is Swiss, we won't be doing any sort of award ceremony or anything like that. There'll be a few photos of the people that have won everything. They should be going up on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Coverage site, the European coverage site.
Curious as to why Izzy's opted to go through Proxy Dragon to get to the Gaia Saber there. I was under the impression that it just required 3 monsters. Yes,
it does.
So throwing away extra deck resources for no real gain. He's not found his way to the double helix here, but he does have 3 trap cards backing him up. And we know that each one of those traps has the potential to shut down an entire turn from Alex.
Yes. So from Pot Desires, we have banished. Endurance Light has been banished.
Oath Dragon, Skullcrabat, Double Iris, card we can't quite see, Wisdom Eye, Astrograph, Duelist Alliance, the 3rd Purple Poison, a Humongous, and a 2nd Wisdom Eye. So Alex, the Pendulum player here, has opted to put in Kaijus in the hope to be able to shut down Sleeper, but Sleeper has not shown up just yet. I suspect we'll see the Dimensional Barrier coming down here, shutting off the effect of the Skullcrabat and also preventing further special summons for the rest of the turn. Yep, so that shuts off the effect.
We're being told the banter at the table is quite amazing.
Someone quick fix, what jokes. So at this point Alex is in a position where he doesn't have many options, but he might still put out a Pendulum Scale so that he could Pendulum summon the Side Blocker in his hand. Because he's only actually prevented from Pendulum summoning, well, special summoning Pendulum monsters, not objectively from Pendulum summoning. But does he have the scale needed to complement the Purple Poison? It looks like no. Okay, so here he's used the purple poison effect on his Skullcrabat. Whilst it's in the Pendulum scale, it's not negated by Dimensional Barrier because it is, of course, a spell card, not a Pendulum monster. So he'll be able to resolve the effect of the Star Pendulum Graph. This may put him in a position to set up a full Pendulum scale in the main phase 2. In which case he might still be willing to perform the Pendulum summon for that side blocker. Takes the Wisdom Eye here, access to any Pendulum monster he wants in the scale. I believe we saw the other purple poison in his hand, so wouldn't be surprised if we see purple poison and Wisdom Eye coming down to be able to summon out that side blocker. Duelist Alliance, I believe that would have been one of the draws from the Pot of Desires. Searching for a double Iris Magician. He may be able to use that to set up his scale, summon out the side blocker, shut down the Super Agents, and even make his way to a Tornado Dragon, to pop his own double Iris and have Time Pendulum Graph ready for the Spiral turn to follow.
Sounds like a fantastic field.
Yeah, he's really finding some interesting routes, despite being locked down by Dimensional Barrier, to keep pushing and keep finding the answers that he has available to him. I can only assume at this point that we will be seeing the side blocker effect being used to shut off the Super Agent. I do have to remember, of course, that there are 2 Artifact Sanctums sat on the other side of the table there.
I miss Pat format.
So, if Izzy is particularly scared of the side blocker, he might just go straight for the Moral Attack and take out the side blocker before any of it goes off. Alex appears to be thinking about responses to the Sanctum. Perhaps he drew an Ash Blossom? Yes.
Yeah.
Ash Blossom comes down. So the play continues.
Alex overlaying there.
I assume, of course, that the side blocker effect was used along the way. Straight into the Tornado Dragon.
Yep.
Take out his own double Iris and find the Time Pendulum Graph to have a piece of interaction for the opponent's turn.
So it's been a very good game for Alex so far.
Yeah, I think he found exactly what he needed off that Pot of Desires. And with the purple poison in his Pendulum Zone, he's set up with the Time Pendulum Graph to be able to take out 2 cards and get the search from the Star Pendulum Graph as well. So, unless something interesting is going on for Izzy here, it's looking like it's going to be Pendulum taking the series after losing game 1.
Yes. Alex lost game 1, said "'tis but a flesh wound," and then just continued powering through to win game 2, and may very well now win game 3. And who knows where they'll place? So I'm not too sure because their pairings have got a bit weird.
I understand that going into this round, these players are both at 7-1. So the winner is likely to be secured atop 4 space, certainly. Naturally, neither of them will be able to place ahead of Tim Cox if he wins this match, with Tim still likely to be first or second place even if he were to lose.
Yeah.
Spiral Tough comes down here. I think it's quite likely that we'll see the time pendulum draft being played. No? Instead it looks like activation of the quick fix engrave. Summon itself and activate the effect. Maybe that Alex believes the correct line here is to save his pieces of interaction for a spiral double helix.
Is that a good shout? Would you not do that?
Well, he was in a position to sort of take out everything that Izzy had on the board, with 2 destructions from the Time Pendulum Draft and the Purple Poison, and the back row removal from the Tornado Dragon. So we've just heard that Tim Cox has won his match on table 2.
Which would mean that he is completely undefeated, meaning that he would be first.
Yeah, he's locked in for first place. So the players here are just likely duking it out for second place.
Yes. Which means that Tim Cox is walking away with the PS4 Pro 1TB, a trophy, which we take away and have engraved with his name and his deck type that he was playing, and an entire case of circuit breaks.
So we're playing this turn with the effect of Psyblocker, I assume, on Super Agent. I'm not sure what rulings come in here about summoning double helix. I assume it's like the Spiral Tough where it can be summoned but the effect is immediately turned off.
Oh, Judge is just coming through now. So they're just asking for a judge now. You okay there?
Yeah, about right.
Oh, they're both doing a little jig. Just coming up to the table now.
So I understand that how the situation plays out at this point is that the Spiral Double Helix is no longer treated as a Spiral Super Agent, but the other part of the effect also can't be used.
Okay.
Yeah, we've just seen Psyblocker being read from underneath the Tornado Dragon.
Okay. Just reading everything there.
You see the judges trying to figure out exactly what happens in the interesting relationships that you get between side blocker and cards that are treated as other names.
Yeah.
The judge has ruled no to being able to use the last resort. Izzy's appealed the ruling, so the head judge will now be heading to the table. So I believe the ruling is around whether a card can be equipped to a monster with a name declared by Sidewalker. Whether it is a use of the card.
Okay. As you see, timer on there is still ticking on screen, but they will have a bit of a time extension because of this.
I believe the head judge is now on the scene. You see a 4-minute time extension being given for this ruling. Now we see the time graph being held, all of this, all the while, using the effect of Tornado Dragon to remove the purple poison from the field before time graph resolved, to be able to get the additional send to grave effect from the time graph. And then purple poison will destroy the last card on Izzy's side of the field, and there'll be a search just to top things off. Izzy just sits there, dazed by what's happened. Reminiscent of when you'd see a Monarch player just going off, okay, and now in a new chain I'm going to do this, and now in a new chain, it's just that, like, whose turn is this?
Just feel a bit like that.
But as we've seen more and more commonly, the amount that you can do in your opponent's turn is really what dictates how the matches play out.
Yeah, it's kind of phenomenal these days. Because again, back in my day, there wasn't a lot you could do in your opponent's turn. Now it's just you basically play your turn in your opponent's turn.
I think the ability to interact during the opponent's turn has certainly done good things for the skill cap of play and how you're forced to think about interactions and what your opponent can do during your turn. But it can also make for some very odd situations where it's almost hard to tell who is the turn player. You know that I've definitely had matches where it's been my opponent's turn, got to their standby phase, and I've gone off, made some combos during their standby phase using quick play effects, and then they ask me if I'm about to end my turn, and I say, well, it's still your standby phase.
Oh.
You see, Izzy's still just very happy to be at the table.
Yeah.
Loving life with no chance. But I guess what have you got to lose at this point?
Pretty much.
He'll sit there until he runs out of life points, it seems.
You remember Dragon Rulers? I used to have to do Britain coverage during Dragon Rule format, and it was very hard to tell whose turn was what.
Yeah, Dragon Rule is a very interesting format. They're very slow games.
Yes, they took a long time.
The first YCS London was a Dragon Ruler format, and that one went on very, very long. So, again, is he not phased? He's just gonna sit here and wait for everything to come down.
And there's the handshake.
And that ends the match and the event.
And the event. So we will have a quick interview, I think. Maybe not with Abdul, but with the winner of the actual event on the whole.
It was Alex that won the match there.
Sorry, Alex, sorry.
Do we have time to do both?
We may have time to do both.
Because we can get Alex in immediately,
and then
we'll wait for the standings, and then we might be able to speak to Tim again afterwards.
Yes, that sounds like a plan. We shall do that now then. Let's go and get Alex in.
Thank you very much.